What's up, guys? The Gangster here, also known as Cameron, and welcome to another movie review. This one is Extraction 2. Now, the first Extraction I had only watched maybe a couple days prior to this one, just to make sure that I knew what I was getting into with this second film. Now, the first film I thoroughly enjoyed. I thought it was probably one of the better action movies out there. Up there with John Wick, I shall say. And does the second one eclipse that? I will get to that in a minute. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and just state that this video is going to be a bit different. Instead of the positive and negative aspects of this film, I'm going to talk about how it's different from the first film, and if it is better than the first film in that aspect, or if it's not as good as that film in that aspect. So it's going to be a little bit different today, but we're going to roll with it and go with the punches. First, let's just talk about the action. Does the action, is it better than the first one? I think it is. The first film, the action in that movie was incredible. It was, shot well, had a lot going on, but you could easily see what was, happening within each scene. This one, it just goes off right off the bat, because in the first one, it takes a little bit, it eases you into it, but this one is just right off the get-go, long action scene after long action scene, and while there are fewer action scenes, the action scenes last longer, which is good in my opinion. I think it's, much more easy to digest, if that makes sense. So the action in this movie totally knocks it out of the park, and it's just so cool to watch. And if you guys saw the trailers for Extraction 2, you noticed that it, showed off this one particular scene. And that scene, that's just the tip of the iceberg. If you think that scene was insane just from, looking at a few snippets here and there, it's pretty nuts. It's 10 times more than you think it would be. And get this, it's a 21-minute long one shot. And that entire scene that you see in the trailer, it's about 2/3 of that. It's about 14 minutes. That is bonkers. A 14-minute one shot. Okay, and yeah, I know it's not technically a one shot because the cuts, you can tell that there are cuts, but that does not detract from the fact that it's insane. It literally is, and it's just incredible to watch. And I guess that can lead into the cinematography, because the cinematography is just about on par. It's just as beautiful. You're in a different landscape. You're going from India to Georgia, from dark and, yellowish tint stuff to white and, just a whole bunch of, and a town as well. But it's just the action shots are so well stitched. Even more so than the first in some aspects, but sometimes especially during the one shot, when it cuts, when it goes from from a door to Chris Hemsworth's face, you can tell the cut is there. You could tell in the first one too, but it's even more noticeable in this one because he does, Sam Hargrave, the director, he does a little bit more shots from this point to that point, and the cuts are much more noticeable. But honestly, I don't give two shits because the action just kind of, doesn't make you notice. But me, I have to notice. But if you're someone who just wants to turn your brain off and watch something like this, you're not gonna notice it. So cinematography is gorgeous, just like the first film. When you go back to the first Extraction, some of the shots during the dialogue scenes, you can tell there's some symbolisms here and there. During the first film, when Tyler is going back and thinking about his son and how he misses his son, there'll be shots of the actual son over his shoulder, and it's the son is the thought entering Tyler's head. You don't see much of that in this movie, but honestly, I don't care, because even if it isn't special, the shots are solid as ever. So you have great action, you have great cinematography. What about the story? What about the characters? does the story of this film carry along as, you know, being tugging at your heartstrings type like the first film? I don't think so. I think the story is a bit weaker. But again, I don't care. The action is too good. But I have to kind of get into it a little bit. The relationship between Tyler and the main kid, there's two kids, but the main kid of this family that he is saving, it doesn't grab me as much. There's not a lot of focal point between them two as there was Tyler and Ovi in the first one. Tyler and Ovi's relationship was much better. And you know, Sandro, the kid, the boy, he's kind of a little shit and he's annoying, and I didn't really like him throughout the film. And he's supposed to be likable because, you know, Tyler went and fucking saved his ass. He was not likable. I didn't like him. And as the movie progressed, his motivations, the things he does doesn't make sense, and it kind of takes me away a little bit. And the story is held by this single plot point that connects Tyler to accepting the job. And that single plot point, it doesn't really get explored much. It does a little bit, but not as much as I would have liked. But I don't care, because it's something that is held together to continue the action, to give reason to, you know, why Tyler fights all these guys. And that's the main thing about these movies, is the action. Okay, that's what people come here to see, because the action in the first film was so good and the shots were so well shot. That's what makes people come to watch this one. And while the story, you know, it's not good, it's not the reason why people come to watch these films. They come to watch for the action, and the story conveys with the action pretty well. But again, the story doesn't hold well on its own. And again, I do like the main Extraction team. I like Nick. I like Yaz, the brother and sister combo. And I also Tyler is a fucking beast in this film. Chris Hemsworth, man, if he ever gets through his little hiatus that he's going through with his Alzheimer's, early set Alzheimer's, and he kind of gets past his fourth Thor phase and, you know, starts making action movies like this, I'm all in. If Chris Hemsworth just stops doing Thor movies and starts doing these movies, like makes 10 of these Extraction movies, I'd be totally down. Because it seems like him and Sam Hargrave, they don't seem to run out of ideas when it comes to the action. So I'd totally be down. And it's just, he just totally just goes on a rampage. I think he kills more people in this film than he did in the first film. I'm too lazy to go do a kill count, but I'm sure it's pretty close. All in all, the story is serviceable enough to make the movie enjoyable along with the action. So if you want to come in expecting a good story, that's not what you're here for. Come on. You're not here to watch a good story movie. Extraction is not that. It's just ball-busting action, and that's what it gives you. So we get through all that, and we are here at the rating. I think it's just on par with the first film. The first film had a better story and good action, and I think this one has a less better story, but even better action. The action, I don't know how you get better. So I'm going to give it, just like I gave the first film, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. The action shots, Chris Hemsworth going on a freaking rampage, and there's also a surprise cameo in this film that I wasn't expecting. I did not know this person was going to be in the film, but for some reason I wasn't surprised, because this person is a hot commodity nowadays. But all in all, 8 out of 10, that's what I'm settling on. It's a good action film. If you want to see, like I said, really, really good action, I'd go ahead and watch the first film first and then go watch the second film, because, wow, that's insane. That's crazy. That's going to do it for my Extraction 2 review. If you guys enjoyed, please like and subscribe. It helped me out very much. I am hoping to get more reviews out. I've got Elemental and Indiana Jones in the wings. I also maybe might watch The Boogeyman. I don't know if I'm going to get a review on that. But a lot of content coming out pretty soon. But yeah, if you liked this, please like and subscribe. And if you haven't liked and subscribed, what the hell are you doing? Like and subscribe, damn it. And I will see you in the next movie review. Bye.